Hello, everyone, and welcome to 365 Days of Love, day 44. I'm thankful to still be on this journey of sharing with you guys one reason why I love God every day for a year. Yesterday, I talked about a little bit about God keeping His promises and, God having special little blessings just for us. And I used the example of my daughter, wanting a Princess Giant coloring book. And in my mind, I just know they didn't have it because I had been there just a few days earlier. They didn't have it. And even the rainbow that we saw, that being significant of, God keeping His promises. But today I want to continue talking about faith. And I told you guys I've been on a faith journey. Just reading the different stories in the Bible of how God came through for people that believed in Him and did incredible miracles. One thing I talked about a few days ago was that as believers, we should know something that other people may not know. We should know something that causes us to praise God like it's our last opportunity to do so. We should know something that causes us to do the impossible like walk on water. That causes us to face our giants without fear, fully persuaded in faith. And I talked about, David and Goliath already. And I think I talked about Peter walking on the water. Now I want to talk about Joshua and the city of Jericho. And, knowing something is basically having faith. It's basically knowing the character of your God, knowing you have a promise and putting action to that promise. And that action could just be, carrying out the directions that God gave you or just giving God the praise until that promise has came to pass. So the story I'm going to talk about is actually in Joshua chapter 6. Yeah. And it's basically the whole chapter. It's basically, God told Joshua and his people that He was going to give them the city of Jericho. And He gave them very specific direction. He told them to march around the cities, and He gave them very specific directions, like put, the priests in the front and, have them blow horns or whatever. And they had to walk around the city 6 times for like 6 days. And on the 7th day, walk around the city 7 times and then shout, and then the walls will fall down. So He gave them very specific direction. And Joshua putting action to that direction showed his faith. Because if God, tells you, hey, go to a dealership and someone's going to give you a car, you actually walking into the dealership shows that you have faith that God is going to do exactly what He said He was going to do. If you don't have any faith, then you're not going to do it. What I thought was awesome is that Joshua carried out the direction to the T. And it made me wonder, like, what if he didn't carry out the very specific direction? Like, what if he, instead of having, marching around 6 times, he did 5? What if, on the 7th day he marched around 6 times and then shouted? Would it have worked? And I don't think it would have worked. He gave him very specific direction for a reason. When God gives very specific direction, it's important that we follow those directions that He gave us. So I wanted to talk about 3 things that I got out of this story of Joshua marching around the city of Jericho. Is the Lord was with Joshua. And number 2, the Lord gave Joshua a very specific direction. And it was when he followed those directions is when he was successful and the blessing was upon his life. So, today I love God because I know that being led by God and following His direction will allow the blessing to produce in my life. So one other thing I want to discuss in Joshua, but I'm going to do it tomorrow, and it's a little bit about obedience. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.